Yes, welcome to Live in the Driveway Part 2. I'd like to do a little change of venue this time and talk about kids. Kids now are a lot smarter than they ever were, a lot smarter than I was as a kid. I approached my son when he was 4 years old and I said, you know, your dad's a safety guy. You know what that means, what I do for a living? And he says, oh yeah. I said, okay son, what do you do if your clothes are on fire? And I'm looking for stop, drop, and roll. He looks at me like I'm an idiot and he goes, you don't put them on. That's how kids are thinking now. So I got to tell you, my son's 11 now. He went to a camp, came back with a whole bunch of new material. He and I and my wife walked to the ice cream store. On the way back, he says, Dad, I got to tell you a new joke I just heard. I said, okay, fine. He says, anything I say, you have to say bait after it. In other words, how do you catch a bear? Bear bait. So I can see where this is going, but I'm going to play along anyway. So he goes, you ready, Dad? I go, yeah, I'm ready. He says, okay, Dad, how do you catch a fish? Fish bait. How do you catch an elephant? Elephant bait. How do you catch an eye master? I go, eye master bait. He laughs his ass off, thinks it's the funniest thing since sliced bread. So we walk around a little further and my wife says to him, do you know what that means? He goes, no, and he starts to laugh. And then we walk around a little further and he goes, Dad, what does that mean? I go, well, son, it's when you touch your naughty bits for pleasure, and it's like being a wanker. He goes, oh, okay, I understand. Now he starts laughing his head off because he understands the joke. So we walk a little further, and he looks at me with concern. He says, Dad, is it perverted to do that? And I said, well, not really, son. Pretty much everybody does it. It's just nobody really talks about it. You should do it, you know, when you're by yourself. He goes, oh, okay. So I knew this was coming. It was just a matter of time. We walk a little further along, and he says, Dad, do you do it? And my wife turns and looks at me, and I look at my son and I said, son, I work for the government. For Christ's sake, of course I do. So anyway, I take my son to the zoo, and we're standing by the baboon paddocks, and he's got a little bag of peanuts there, the Metro Zoo, and he throws a peanut into the baboon paddocks, and this big hairy gray-backed baboon picks it up, shoves it up his ass, looks at it, and then eats it. I said, that's unbelievable. That's disgusting. I can't believe an animal would do such a thing. I go, son, you see that? Yeah. I go, throw him another one, see what happens, right? So he throws him another peanut, right? Funniest damn thing you ever saw. That baboon picks it up, shoves it up his ass, looks at it, and eats it. Well, I beside myself. So I used to work at the zoo when I was a kid, so I know they got two kinds of phones. They got a red phone for people emergencies, and they got a green one for animals. So I get on the green phone, and I phone the thing, and I say, you got to send me one of your Daktari Jeep guys. You got to see this animal behavior. It's very peculiar. So sure enough, the guy shows up in the striped Jeep, you know, with the khakis and the pith helmet and the like. And I go, okay, son, watch this. Just go ahead, son, do your thing. So my son throws a peanut, and the guy's watching. That same baboon takes it, looks at it, shoves it up his ass, and then eats it. And I said to the guy, is that the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life? And he looks at me, and he goes, no, not at all. Yesterday, somebody fed him a peach, and he couldn't pass the pit, so now he measures everything before he eats it.